What's going on, guys? You're watching Shieldbearer Faith. So I heard a couple days ago about a couple different areas that are having official, I'm gonna call them official, militia gatherings. Militia musters is the term that they're using. And apparently there was one that was in Floyd County that I was told by a guy that I know that was there, that they had, 200-ish people at that thing. I think they had more than 200 originally sign up, but he said he was approximating probably 200 people actually came. Hey, that's cool, man. That's honestly really cool. And so as he was telling me about that, his description was it was awesome, is what he was saying. And he told me a little bit more about it. But the reason I'm talking about it now is, there's a couple more coming up for Virginia, and I'm sure they will not be the only ones. I'm just aware of a few. But the few that I am aware of, well, I kind of have opinions about militia in general. And let's go over a little bit of that, and then I'll give you my take on the ones that are coming up. First of all, I have participated in many groups that could be categorized as militias, meaning people dressing in paramilitary or military clothing that are gathering for a purpose of training as a group in an organized fashion with firearms. And no, I am not talking about flat range shooting. I'm talking about out in the woods, camouflage on, rifles, chest gear, plate carriers, all kinds of stuff, right? So with that said, whether it was or was not called a militia, that is, at least based on the laws they've been trying to pass, militia activity, right? So if they had to pass one of the laws they were talking about, it would ban that activity, right? So it would fall into that. In fact, if I were to get together, 4 or 5 cops and we went out and did the same thing, that would have been categorized as militia activity too if it was not sanctioned by our department. So with that said, I'm totally on board with the concept of self-defense and going out and training as a group, and you can call it militia if you want to. It tends to get a bad connotation, but you can call it whatever you want. Same thing is, though, that you're going in training. Now, with that said, and with the groups that I have participated in, I've found consistencies when I would encounter groups and go train with groups that actually would call themselves militias. Because for, let's see, 2, 3 groups, maybe 3 groups, they would gather on a fairly frequent basis, and they would tell people that it was for the purposes of training. But then you would get there and you wouldn't really do almost anything. Well, then it really begs the question, why gather? If you're not going to train, if you're not going to do PT, if you're not going to work on communications or work on medical knowledge or anything like that, if you're not going to do some sort of team building exercise to better yourselves in the team that's in that category, why gather in the first place? And I bring this up because I sent an email to one of the areas that I'm aware of that is doing a gathering, a muster is what they're calling it. I sent an email and I was like, hey, I'd like to get a little bit more information about what you're doing. I did not tell them what jurisdiction I work for, but I did tell them that, hey, I am a police officer in the area, and I would like to help if I can. I'd like to come out and offer some knowledge about combat style trauma, bleeding control stuff. And I even told them, I said, hey, I've got my own training dummy, I can bring it out and just do a segment, a piece, right? I ain't trying to run anything. I don't want to run anything. But offering to help as a fellow citizen. And I got a reply back, and it was polite, and he said, hey, I appreciate the offer. I'm guessing it's a he. They said, appreciate the offer. We do not know when the next one's going to be, because I told them I couldn't make the one that I'm aware of. They said, don't know when the next one's going to be, but we'll send you an email when we do. Great. I am hoping that they will do that, because I would like to participate if I can. The stuff I'm offering to teach is life-saving only, life-saving knowledge. I'm not going there with some agenda to get information. I promise, guys, if people want information, they're not making it difficult to get. That's something that Alpha Charlie Concepts pointed out in relation to the rally that was in Richmond. If they're wanting information, you give them a lot of them. That's part of living in the world. We're just not going to conceal that much information. The group I'm talking about that I emailed, they're stating on their website that they're meeting in a park. So it's not going to be a secret thing, okay? But that's not the point. The fact is, it's pretty cool that they're meeting. It's pretty cool to me that people are waking up to the fact that they need to potentially watch out for themselves in their own neighborhoods. They need to protect those that they love. Your gun rights might be threatened. Maybe that's the trigger, but hopefully it's waking people up for a longer term issue of watch out for the people that matter to you. I'm just thinking out loud. So I hope that I hear back from them again when the next month comes up. If I don't, that's fine. I'm not gonna have my feelings hurt or something. But at the same time, I also am cautious about whether they're going to do anything or not at the trainings. I do not know what Floyd County did or did not do at their muster with all the people they had. I'm hoping that they did something. I haven't heard, haven't researched really. All I heard was it was cool to see so many people of like mind in the same place. I did hear that they talked about, I read this online, that they talked about gun rights and constitutional rights. That is frequently the issue that I found when I would go to some of the groups I've already mentioned, is there was a whole lot of talking, not as much doing. Be a doer. If you're going to one of these things or what's going on, get something going on to do something. I hope it helps, and I'll see you later.